Yosef Yisrael Agud Voch Boisai nishmat Miriam Mordechai Agud Yor Machasim Toivo Agud Gebench Yor. Today or tonight we're going to be learning Daf Lamed Hey. And for those of you who haven't been here yesterday, I'm going to go back and do Daf Lamed Dalet. I want to point out that yesterday was a tremendous Kiddush Hashem. On Rosh Hashanah afternoon, 5 o'clock, when people are tired, and they had a whole day of davening and eating, there was over 80 people in this room. 80 people. And that coincides with the very first day of Daf Yomi ever, 100 years ago. Forgot to mention that. Rosh Hashanah, 100 years ago exactly. It's a tremendous Kiddush Hashem. Just a couple of emails here. Today, unfortunately, I didn't really sleep. I'm not supposed to sleep, but I wanted to sleep. I had an excuse because I got up like maybe an hour and a half before Vasikin to prepare a little bit. So if I fall asleep a little bit, or sometimes it puts me in a better mood when I'm very tired. So excuse a couple of inappropriate jokes or whatever. Just be moichel. My name is Shulam Steinberg. I am 15-year-old Bocher. I've been with MDY since Rebbe came to Lakewood live from Masechtas Gittin. I really want to attend the Shabbaton, but in order to do so, I'd have to pay myself, which I'm in no position to do. I can probably muster 300 towards if somebody can please help pay for my room. P.S. I'm currently not in the yeshiva, so MDY is my strong point in Yiddishkeit. Attached a few pictures of me and Rebbe. Picture number 1 is me and Rebbe at the Lakewood Live Siyum. So I didn't put that one in, I guess. Picture number 2 is me and Rebbe in Tannersville, right to let my father and me and Rebbe. Number 3 is ever since the first photo was taken, it's been my profile picture since that very day on practically every single platform. Here it is, every single platform, including WhatsApp platform.
Pay for his ticket.
We'll help him out.
I'll give him $200.
You'll give him $200. Wow. Yeah, come here. Get over here. Let's have it on video. Come here. You're on video anyway. You know the video cameras are everywhere. Here you go. Get over here. But it's not so bad. So that's $500. No, his 300 and your 200 is 500. I never met you. What's your name? I'm kidding. You're here every day. I know you were my neighbor. Where were you my neighbor?
In Brooklyn Avenue.
Were you there? You were there with the crazy story with the dog and the this.
I can't remember.
You don't remember any of the stories? Was I a normal neighbor? I lived right above you.
Your son used to wake me up every Sunday morning with playing like
the Daf. Daf Yomi. Yes. All right, Yishkoyach, thank you for coming every day. $200, unbelievable. Yishkoyach. All right, hey, it worked. Dear Reb Eli, firstly, a belated mazel tov on your son's bar mitzvah. I've been with the shir since brachas, and I've stuck with it due to your approach. Kiddushin is very nostalgic for me, as I did it a few times. Late friend about 40 years ago. Then my practice in South Africa got too busy for me to have time. I decided at 70, when the new cycle began, that I would do it. Thank you for your innovative approach, and I'm determined to finish Shas with you. I brought about 7 people in, wishing you, your family, and the Olam K'tiva V'Chatima Tova, Marvin Stein, Sydney, Australia. Moshe Hecht, dear Reb Eli, my name is Moshe Hecht. I have to tell you, this is crazy. Like, even as I was leaving, they must have gotten like 40 emails as I'm leaving the house. No? And I have to say, Yishkoyach to Yosef in advance. He's going to be up all night doing 2 shiurim. I've recruited some people to the shir. I myself have fell off the bandwagon in time, and I keep getting back. Before I met you, I never made a siyum. Practically never learned. When we started Kiddushin, I decided to make a deal with a friend to learn in honor of his daughter, and my sister-in-law and brother-in-law for shidduch. After the mistake that the Be'ez Hashem will find one b'karv, I'd like to call out my dear friend. Said he's keeping up to it every day and loves it, even though it's torture. With the schedule. Although he says he won't continue in the next Masechta. I'm very optimistic by the time we're done. I want to be able to stop. In any case, I would like to wish you Ksiv Chsim Toiva, Zchus of Masechta. We should find the quick shidduchim for the need. Thank you for making me a better person and giving me a daily purpose. Yevalde. Chaim, you made some sugar. Okay. The Koilo sponsored by no one. The Masechta sponsored by Lakewood NJ families like in Jersey Torah, because Torah and achdus are the best segula. Parnas Achodesh, Rochel bas Leba for Refuah Shelemah b'Kori v'Amein. Parnas Achodesh nishmat Chaya bas Yosef. Parnas Achodesh as a zchut that our family should be blessed with health. Simcha nachas for 120. I guess they had this scare. These are the people that had scare. Baruch Hashem, I'm just making this up. He said the test should come back good. So Be'ez Hashem, the tests are good. Hatzlocha l'schus, Yosef Meir ben Rochel. Parnas Achodesh, Elan Chaim Golan, Leiluy nishmat Batsheva Chaya bat Miriam. Parnas Shavua last day. Thank you to Hashem for all the good He has given us and continue to give us. And by Justin Ivry, dedicated to my personal hero inspiration of Eli Shlita and family. V'tam Torah connected kulam. Yiratzin she's covered with the same Yiratzin v'tiskel lenachas the Kiddushin v'lidai l'shan Tovit Geseva zechseimu lat Chaim Tovim l'shalim. And in honor of your great father, Harav Tzaddik Reb Yankiv David Shlita, to whom all of us at MDY owe a huge achdus atov and yishakayach. The heart of the month, Yosef and Chaya's sorrow for all the schusim that come from supporting Leba Torah. I want to show you, Stam, we're talking about the art. So, as I was giving shir yesterday, right in the Beis Medrash, I said, I wish I didn't think about it before Shabbos. A simple chart that shows a list of mitzvahs aseh man grama and mitzvahs aseh man shelo man grama. Some of them are potter. A woman is potter. Some of them a woman is chayiv. And this side and that side. So this is what I drew up real quickly. This is if I was the artist, which I'm not, before Yoshi stepped in, it would look a little bit better than this. But I just drew this up for him, and I left him a message. I said, do me a favor, shears in like an hour and a half. Please make this a little nicer. Okay? This is what it looked like. I had the green, the red. I thought I was doing good. The top is a little shvach. It's very small. Obviously, nothing is lined up because I didn't have time to line it up. I just want to show you rudimentary drawings here. Here, I try to show two psukim. I didn't even have time to find a double arrow. It was like in a rush. Like, just take this and go. Let me show you what he does. What he did with that chart is unbelievable. Here, look at this. Yoshi, the artist. Take a look at this just for a second. Boom. Mitzvahs man groma. There's a potter. There's a chayev. It's clear. It's beautiful. It's every penny is worth it. What? Forget about, huh?
It's graphic design.
It's design. What?
It's centered.
Well, the center, I could also center it if I spent the extra 10 seconds. To me, the top was what did it. I threw it on, he did Mitzvahs man groma. In that, there's a potter, there's a chayev. He put a little clock there because it says man groma. And that's just part of it. But when we go through it, he's going to, instead of doing this silly arrow that I had, he takes two boxes, highlights them, show you. Okay. We're in the middle of a sugi here. Mitzvahs man groma. We are starting from Daf Lamed Hey on top word. As a side note, if you're not going to be here in the first year, because, the second year, which is yesterday's Daf, we'll repeat that I had seminary girls over for Shabbos, and I also had guests, a couple over today, and I bumped into friends and their wives, and I asked them this question, and I was astonished to find out that women who don't have that many mitzvahs, really, they don't know what their mitzvahs aseh man groma is. So I asked first the seminary girls, 6 of them, what's the mitzvah aseh man groma that you're chayev? What are you chayev, even though it's time limited? It's only a certain time of the year. So they said shofar. I said, no, you're wrong. Shofar, you're not chayev. Whoa, we're not chayev. In seminary, they said we have to run to shul and make sure. Every woman told me that. Every woman thinks the shofar is mitzvah. No, they're not chayev. So why did they tell us in school? They have tinus on school. Okay. Then I heard so Rav said that you shouldn't say, they should be very makbid and it's good for them and da-da-da. But in terms of the harah'ç, it's not the harah'ç. And then it turns out that this girl's father watches the shir. She came up with a chap. Kaparis. Kaparis is a mitzvah aseh man grama that noshim are chayev. Okay? Then, so we went through the whole thing. So I would recommend, if you didn't do this, ask your wife. You can pause the shir for a second. Ask your wife, What's a mitzvah asay shazman grama that's time that you're chayiv? And the answer is matzah. And also simcha on Yontif, on especially Sukkot, Pesach, to be happy. And then what are mitzvahs asay shaloy hazman grama that you're chayiv? Ask. See, isn't that like the basics that they should learn in seminary instead of Rambans and stuff like that? Okay, I don't know. Whatever. I'm just saying. Akaponim. We could start, let's start 4 lines from the bottom Amud Aleph Beis. We'll just go back a little bit. Even though we did this, just to get us back into the sugya. V'neilef mitalma Torah. Torah, a woman is parted from learning Torah. And it's a mitzvah hazeh shelo yazman grama, right? Rabbi Isai, don't forget, we're chayiv to learn Torah every day, all day. There's not a single day of the year. Zalman Tzvi asked, but what about Tisha B'Av? Even on Tisha B'Av, we have to learn Torah, the Torah that's mutter. Every day we learn Torah. Even on Rosh Hashanah, we learn Torah. On Yom Kippur, we learn Torah every day. But women are potter. So why don't we learn that a mitzvah that's not time dependent, like a mezuzah, like a makkah? Here, if we go back to this, here. Mitzvahs hazeh shelo yazman grama. What are they chayiv? Mezuzah, makkah, aveda, shilucha, ken kibbud. Let's learn from Torah, which is on the other column of potter. It's also mitzvahs hazeh shelo yazman grama. It's the top. Why don't we learn that all women are potter from kibbud aveim, the potter from mezuzah, just like the potter from Torah? Why don't we learn from Torah? Says the Gemara, Mishum dahav talmud Torah pir v'ribyo shnei ksuvim haboim ke'echad v'chol shnei ksuvim haboim ke'echad emilamdim. I don't know if I'm going to find it here. No, because we have to jump ahead a few, because this is still for Lamadal. Here we go. Oh, Tazoi. See what's going on here? Torah and Pru are shnei psukim. And anytime the Torah tells us the same halacha twice, that tells us you cannot learn from it. If the Torah wanted to teach us for every concept and every halacha, would say it once. Would say about Torah is a mitzvah yichayev all day long. Women are potter. So everything that you chayiv every day, like a mezuzah, they're potter. But since it says it twice, it says pruvu, and they're potter from pruvu, they're potter from Torah. Why did the Torah have to repeat it twice? To tell us only these 2 things they're potter, but the rest of the Torah they're chayiv. Next, now we're holding Daf Amud Aleph. Told Adam and Chava Pruvu. In other words, there's a chiyuv on a woman to be mekayim Mrs. Pruvu. So now take a look at the column for a second. Look what happens when you look at the column. Pruvu goes to the column of chayiv. What are we left with? Torah and Pinyin Ben. So now we only have one pasuk right now, Torah. Forget about Pinyin Ben for a second. The Gemara, because until now we knew Torah and Pruvu. Now we're left with Torah. So why can't we learn for the rest of the Torah? All mitzvahs should be like Torah, that she's potter. Just like a woman does not learn Torah, even though you chayiv to learn it every day. So too, she shouldn't be chayiv mezuzah makkah aveda shelo again and everything else. Oh, now you look at Pinyin Ben. Here we go. Take a look now. Now the Gemara discovers Pinyin Ben. And now it's 2 psukim again. Torah and Pinyin Ben, 2 psukim. And anytime you have 2 psukim, you can't learn anything from it.
3 psukim is like 2?
3 psukim is even worse. Yeah. It's stronger. Oh. So Pru, Revu, and Moira. Here, let's take a look at the chart for a second. You see, the box now goes to the bottom of the left column. So now we have 2 things. Kibbud, Pru, Revu, that we say women are chayiv. And it's mitzvah say shelo yazman grama. Because we said, how this means, how can we hear them so stark? Is one of the windows open? Okay. That's why. Okay. So, how do we know that a woman is chayiv and mitzvah shelo yazman grama? A mitzvah that's not time constrained, a mitzvah that's there every day. How do we know that she's chayiv? From kibbud aveim, from Moira. Kibbud aveim. I wrote kibbud av. It might not be so accurate. Moira is a little bit more accurate. Do you remember the difference between moira and kibbud avim? Kibbud means to serve a parent and do. Moira means to fear your parent. So what's a good example of fear? Not to sit in a seat, not to contradict him, but it's sheval taisa. So a woman is always chayiv in that, even though if she's married, she's still chayiv in that. If she's married, she's not chayiv in kibbud av. I just put kibbud av because I thought it's easier to understand, but it might not be accurate. Maybe I'm not going to take it out. The Gemara uses moira, whatever. I threw in kibbud av. You understand what I'm talking about? That idea that she's chayiv to respect her parents, not to contradict them. So, anyways, priya v'ribya umoira shnei ksuma bam kecha. Don't ask the Gemara. How come you're learning from kibbud av to the whole torah? At the end of the day, you have two psukim. Pruvu, according to him, is on that column. V'melamdim shnei ksuma bam kecha v'melamdim. Says the Gemara tzrichi. So again, anytime you have this concept. By the way, I have to say this. I keep on forgetting to say this, and I think it's a big chizuk for everybody in the shir. Reb Yossi, what's your last name again? Saunders. Reb Yossi Saunders made aliyah last week from Manchester. Manchester or London? Which one? Manchester. Okay, Manchester. And he told me, he had a great apartment somewhere. And he had another apartment that was smaller and much more expensive. He chose the one that's smaller and more expensive because it's across the street from his kids' school. So therefore, he doesn't have to bring his kids to the school and he can come to shir. In order to come to shir, I'm not joking, in order to come to shir, he's spending more money and living in a smaller quarters. It's a tremendous chizuk for everybody. Ishkoyach. I know, there's people that live here. I don't know if they're here now. People rent, who? Zared is not here, he sits right behind you. He chose the apartment right here because it's next to shir, yeah. And he doesn't even come. So, I know, he comes every day. I has his son's bris. Great son's bris today. Very nice. Mazel tov. Oh, that's what it is. See, you have to be lamed schus. You see, you have to be lamed schus. It was just for the joke. Anyways, strichi. Because of Rachman and Moira, because of prayer. So many times you have two psukim. So again, we're saying we have two psukim. What are two psukim? Kibbud av and pruvu. And you can't learn from it. How do you learn from it? No. But if each one is necessary, then that whole idea of why did the Torah say it twice falls out. The Torah says it twice, not to say only these two things, but each one has a special chiddush. What's the special chiddush? Because of Rachmana Moira, because of Piri have amina b'chivshua of Rachmana. So here's the pasuk. Conquer the world. So you think that since the Torah says the word b'chivshua, who conquers the world? A man. A woman doesn't. When a woman gets bored, she goes shopping. When a man gets bored, he invades a country. As I get this. It's not the derech of a woman to conquer. And Memela, maybe the whole pasuk of Pruvu is not even talking about her. So therefore I have to say, no, she's chayiv. According to Rebbe Broika, not everybody holds like that. I don't think we all like that. Because of Ribya, and so if it only say because of Moira, we had this far already. A man is always chayiv in kibbud av and Moira because nobody ever rules over him, so to speak. In Isha, but a woman, that all the seminary girls knew. They were like all of them together. Oh no, we're not chayiv in kibbud av. Once we get married, we have to respect our husband. Blah blah blah. And this is a chiddush. And since when a woman gets married, she has to listen to her husband first. She'll be mechaber her husband first before her own father. So therefore, she should never be chayiv and kibbud avim, even when she's single, says Rashi. So I need these two psukim. Each one has a chiddush, and since they have a chiddush, you could learn from them. That what? The mitzvah sazeh, shelo yazman grama, a mitzvah that's there every single day. A woman is chayiv all the time. Every single time. So if it's your first time learning this, it's nerve-wracking. But when you see it over and over and over, it just becomes second nature. Every time the Gemara says, there's two psukim, a melamdim, so the Gemara says, well, wait a minute. That's great if you hold a melamdim. So let's go back. We have to go back to the charts here. Now we have Torah Pidyon Ben. So a melamdim Now we have Torah Pinyan Ben, and you do learn from them. He holds when you have two psukim. A second ago, the step before this step, we said that Torah and Pinyan Ben are two psukim, and you cannot learn from two psukim. But there's a man that says you could learn from two psukim. So what are we going to learn? That when a woman has a mitzvah that you're supposed to do every day, like learning Torah, she doesn't do it. So when she has to do mezuzah, she doesn't have to do mezuzah because we learn from Torah. And Pinyan Ben. A woman is not mechuyev to do Pinyan Ben to her son. If there's no father, she doesn't have to do it. So Mela, the whole list on the left should be out. She should never be chayiv in the whole list on the left. We should learn from Torah. So look at Rashi for a second. I think there's beautiful Rashi here. Papunoi. What's this papunoi? Talmidim sheba papupna. Papupna. These are talmidim from Pupana. Umanu Ravacha Bar Yaakov sheyidober papuna. Kedomer Bar Shutvim. But Basra it says Gabi Satan Upnina L'Shem Shemayim Neskavnu. This is Rosh Hashanah. Chana is on Rosh Hashanah. We learned the Torah Chana. And also the Satan, if I'm not mistaken, was on Rosh Hashanah. You can look it up. I didn't have the Navi by me. I have Eoiv. This is the story of Eoiv that he said, Dorsher of Achar Bayakab Pupuna. Also, so he said, no. The Satan, when he did everything to Eoiv, he's Mechavan L'Shem Shamayim. The Satan was so excited that, what's that noise, our boys say? It's okay. You can't drink water in this year if it makes noise. No, I'm kidding. Zalman Tzvi, you could. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Go. Seriously, go. Take your water. So he made a drush. He said, the Yitzhahara, the Satan, he did L'Shem Shamayim. The Satan was so excited, he came and he kissed his feet, it says. But that was on, I believe it was on Rosh Hashanah also. Zok the Gemara, it's still Rosh Hashanah, in Chutz La'aretz. Oh, so he says, there's a beautiful Papunoi who knows the Pshat. Listen to this. My new thing is that I go around, this is the last 2 months, every time I meet somebody that's a little bit on the fence, I say, you wear tefillin? Yeah. Just this Rosh Hashanah, I had a guy, he's diving here in the minyan, you wear tefillin? Yeah. You learn Torah? Never. I said, what's more important? Torah or tefillin? Tells me tefillin. I said, you're wrong. Torah is more important. How do you know? Then he starts bringing rayas to me. Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam, the whole thing. I said, yeah, if you only have a minute, you have a chiyuv right now to wear tefillin, you wear tefillin. It doesn't mean that it's more important to learn Torah. So here's a raya to me. Look. You should wear tefillin on your hand. On your head. The whole point of tefillin is to remind you of the Torah. That is the point of tefillin. All the mitzvahs in Torah have to be like tefillin. Tefillin, so that's debatable, as we'll see. Tefillin is a mitzvah, you only wear tefillin during the day. But it's problematic, because you could really wear them at night. So why is a mitzvah Shazman Grama? Because you cannot wear them on Shabbos and Yom Tov. But that's also problematic. Maybe you could wear them on Shabbos and Yom Tov. So you say bris, so this, we'll see. Mitzvah Shazman Grama Noshim Turos. I've called mitzvah Shazman Grama Noshim Turos. So we learn from a hekesh. So once we learn from a hekesh, says Rashi, a hekesh trumps everything. Until now, we were learning a bunch of memetzinus. Says Rashi, if you want to learn from a memetzinu, it's not good. It doesn't come close to hekesh. A hekesh is much stronger. If you're going to try to use a memetzinu and take it from the list, these two, look, she's chayiv in these mitzvahs Shazman Grama. That doesn't come close to this hekesh. This hekesh tells me a mitzvah Shazman Grama, something like tefillin, you are potter. A woman is potter. I've called mitzvah Shazman Grama Noshim Turos. And once I know that if it's a time-dependent mitzvah, it's only on certain times of the day, like tefillin, tzitzis, etc., then I know, and the potter, right? So Mela, even though I have, let's see if I have it over here. You see in this chart, you have hakel and matzah. Shalom Aleichem, Kim Tzaran. We have seats, mamish, right over here for you, special. Hey, come in, no? So even though you have hakel and matzah are mitzvahs hazeh shazman grama. You only do hakel once every 7 years. Matzah you only eat once a year. There's splendid. There's 3 seats here. Here, these 2 and right over there next to you. Good. Saran, you have a Gemara? Somebody give me a Gemara. Oh, we have a seat over here also. But this is a problem to get to. Hold on. Shkoyach. First of all, what's your name? From where? From Tosh. That's Choshev. So these are all your sons and everything? Shkoyach for coming. It's a chizuk. It's a chizuk for us. Bemis. It's another win for me.
I'm on your WhatsApp every day.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Shkoyach. Appreciate it. All right. So you see what's going on here? We have hakel and matzah, which is a mitzvah say shazman groma, and women are chayiv in hakel and matzah. So maybe I should learn from that. No, because I'm learning from tefillin, and tefillin is a hekesh, and a hekesh is stronger than a mamatzinu. It's stronger than this binyanav, says Rashi. Okay. Now the Gemara says, your whole hekesh is great. If you hold that tefillin is a mitzvah shazman groma, you only wear tefillin during the day, not at night. You only wear tefillin during the weekday, not on Shabbos. And therefore, just like tefillin is a mitzvah shazman groma, nashima potter, so to all other mitzvahs, they should be potter. By the way, we hold that you're not supposed to wear tefillin on Shabbos. So tefillin becomes a super duper type of muktzah. It's like a really big muktzah, according to some. You think that it's still a mitzvah, maybe you can push it, but it becomes like muktzah machas gufa, like a really strong muktzah. But this is Manama that says that it's not a mitzvah shazman groma. You can wear tefillin on Shabbos, you can wear tefillin at night, it's not a problem. My father wears tefillin all day, so when it comes night, he doesn't take them off right away. It's not like, oh, it's shki, I have to pull them off. He goes in 10, 15. It's not such a big deal to wear it at night. Oh, and if so, now listen to this. Now we're going back to hakel and matzah. Now you chap. Now don't forget we have the hakel and the matzah business. We have hakel and matzah. Gary says, if you don't mind backing up a little bit for the video. Okay, shkoyach. Now it's my problem. Usually we have the guest sits here and the Avi sits across and goes, that's my screaming at me. He's in a good mood tonight. It's Matzah Yontif. All right. So mitzvah is my grandma. What time? Let me ask you. What time did you finish davening today? 3. You know what time I finished? And I'm not lying. There's people here in this room that daven in my minyan. 8:25 a.m. I'm not magzim. Done. Out the door. 8:25. We daven v'sikin. Al pi nusach hagra. They don't do any pizza. I'm not proud of it, but I did it for my kids. My kids, more than 3 hours they couldn't. They said they can't. They sat. They davened nicer Shemon Esrei than me, longer than me, but 3 hours they're out. Who's here? Anybody here? Oh, Yosef and you and Dr. Levitin. Am I lying? 8:25 today? Yesterday was longer because there's no tkiyas. Gay freg. I don't know. I have no idea. It was over at 8:40. Yeah. Next year we're gonna have to have a quadruple shul. Everybody's gonna want to daven there. Mitzvah says Shalei is my grandma, Mike Lemeimar. Oh, so we have to just, if we knock out tefillin, you can't learn out from tefillin. So what are we left with? We're left with hakel and matzah, 2 mitzvahs. I was telling people, ask your wife, what's a mitzvah say shazman groma that women are chayiv? Because all mitzvahs say shazman groma the potter matzah. A lot of women don't know it. Over here, these 2 mitzvahs, hakel and matzah, learn from it that all mitzvahs say shazman groma, women should be chayiv. Says Gemara, man shamas leido amar tefillin mitzvah say shazman groma, Reb Eli. Let's figure it out. Who says that mitzvah that you can wear tefillin at night at Shabbos? Reb Eli. So these 2 things, hakel and matzah, are 2 psukim. And once we have 2 psukim, like we said before, the typical sheet is, well, if you have 2 psukim saying the same thing, you can't learn out for the rest of the Torah. Now, how do you know that a mitzvah says shazman groma the potter? So we're going to have to learn now from aliyah l'regel. So if you look at the right column, all the way on the bottom, it says aliyah l'regel. That's where we're going to learn that, says Rashi. Now that's great. Okay, so we try to get out of it with Reb Meir. We have a big problem though, because Reb Yehuda holds like Reb Meir, but he holds that shnei ksuma abam kechad melamdim. So you have a problem. I know. It's one of these sugyas of drushes, and the Elan wants to go to sleep now. It's going to be over soon. It's Daf Yomi. According to Reb Yehuda, say no. You have two psukim. You have hakel and matzah, and you could learn out for the rest of the Torah. And he also holds like Reb Meir. So tefillin we can't learn from. Why? Because it's Shalez Magrom. Oh, should have matzah, simcha, v'hakel. Now we have three things, and that's what you were asking me before. We have three psukim. Three psukim makes it even stronger. Why in the world HaKadosh Baruch Hu put in the Torah three mitzvahs with the same outcome, the same halacha, to teach us it's only these three mitzvahs? Simcha, what's simcha? They have to be happy on Yontif, which the Vilna Gaon says is the hardest mitzvah in the Torah. The hardest mitzvah to keep is simcha. How can you be happy? The whole Yontif. Hakel, once every 7 years, Anoshim, Noshim V'taf, Beis HaMikdash. And Matzah. So since it's three psukim abayim ke'achad, shleish psukim abayim ke'achad, shleish psukim abayim ke'achad, they melamdim. So Mela what? It's only those three, they're chayiv. But everything else, sukkah, lulav, shofar, tzitzis, they're potter. A lot of women think also that Zachar the Chayiv. There's a lot of confusion here. I really think somebody should make a shir and tell them what the Chayiv and Potter. They're not Chayiv and Shofar. They are running to Shofar. It's the. And then one woman, I'm not joking, she was telling her husband that she missed a few kailos, that she has to go to another shul. It's like, wait a minute, you're not even Chayiv. Okay, whatever. Say, huh? With the rice, with the Rabbanan also with the rice.
Someone gives a shir to the women of the Shabbat.
Women have taken upon themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what you're saying, very good. Women took upon themselves, and that's what that Rav was saying. Once they took upon themselves, you shouldn't belittle it, you should tell them it's good, they should go, and they should run to another shul, etc., etc. So how do you know that a woman is a mitzvah's loisaseh? She's chayiv, all averis, chaylev, all these averis, what? Kiyasu mikol chatei sadim. We're going to have three psukim here, three limudim. The first one is that if somebody is nishbal sheker when he steals, he says, "You stole." No, I'm going to make a shwait and steal, and he lied. So it says in the pasuk, isha, both. Hishra akasav isha lish l'chol hanoshim shebatayr. There's a comparison between a man and a woman for all averis. So that's one source, that a woman is chayiv in loisas and all averis. The Reb Eli on my crush, where's this pasuk? So if you're in the time of the Gemara, it's so pashut. But we need this little chart. Oh, Veila Mishpatim. This is the first pasuk Mishpatim. Asher Tosim Lefneim. Yo is a Balkaira and Yosef is a Balkaira. Of course they know, but I didn't know. Veila Mishpatim Asher Tosim Lefneim. Now we're going into Hilchas Mamenes. If an axe broke this, and if you did this, and you all the Hilchas Mamenes. So it says, Asher Tosim Lefneihem. Hishva Kosev Isha Leish L'chol Dinim Shel Torah. They're chayiv in dinim mamenes. Chayiv in things that are lois aseh. The Bechizkiya Tana Amakro Behemis Isha. If a shar kills a man or a woman, Hishva Kosev Isha Leish L'chol Misa Shabbat Torah. That if a shar kills a woman, her life is also valuable. So you kill the ox, this koifer, the owner has to pay. If you kill a woman, what if you kill a woman? You chayiv misa, like you kill a man. It's the same thing. What shifcha? We're talking about Jews here. Oh, great. Until somebody on Yontif said that he was helping us look for an animator in South Africa. So he sent them some of Yoshi's animation. He says, we want to do this. We want to step it up to the next level. So they said, but we want to see what. We have to see what this is about. What's this class? So he sent them a shir. So did I say sugar? You sent them a shir. Who knows what sugar was? Maybe it's like it says in the shir. Oh, and if she's 9 years old and you marry her, and then like sugar, and then a non-Jewish slave and a Jewish slave. Who knows? I mean, the sugis that we're learning lately, Hashem Yirachim. Okay, they said it was very interesting. There's a lot of words they didn't understand in between the English. They said, huh? Chas v'shalom. No, he's going stronger than ever. It's just we need to step up the animation. he's going to be in charge of that mission. So you need all three psukim. The first pasuk, Mishum kapara chas rachman Allah. It's a kapara. She needs a kapara like a man needs a kapara. So the Torah had rachmanas on her. Aval dinin ema ish the bar masu maton in ishaloi. A man, he does business, so the whole mishpatim is for him and not for a woman. It's interesting. One of the explanations they say about how come a woman, she doesn't come to testify in Bezdin. They say it's the opposite of what you think. Because at the end of the day, a woman is neman b'yisurim. You do believe her. So how come when it comes to mamanas and things like that, not? Fakert. We want to, I'm saying from like Rishonim, we want to protect women. Because when you see something, let's say you witness a killing. So you have to go and watch it and see it. And women are very sensitive. You'll damage their neshama if they have to sit there and watch a gneva of this and testify about it, come to Bezin and relive it. So the opposite, the Torah wanted to save them from that. But it's not that, they don't have nemanas, because they have nemanas in Isurim. Okay? And if you just talk about mishpatim, okay, maybe the Torah said the chayv mishpatim. Why? Because they need to live. So Rashi says something very interesting. If they didn't have mishpatim, so everybody would steal from them. And they would steal from everybody. So you know what's going to end up? Nobody's going to have anything to do with them. They would literally put women to the side. We can't be next to you. You come into our neighbor, you start stealing from us. It's mutter for you to steal. Ganavim. So nobody wants to do with them. So Meila Bakal B'Deilim Imeno, says Rashi. Stay away from them. So they need to live. If everybody's bottled from them, they can't walk into this store because the ladder, what is it called? Shoplift. It's like like now in America, shtickle. Can't live like that. Mishum Chayusi. Ava Koifer, Ema, Daf Yomi Beis, Ish, the bar mitzvahs in Ishaloi. Since a woman is potter from a lot of these things from the list that we saw, Mrs. Hishas Mangrama, so I would say that only a man you pay the koifer, the payment when the ox kills a man. So Kumashmal or not. Well, she died. Chas Rachman Allah, so the Torah Rachman, she gets paid. The others not. Okay, so each one of the psukim is a tzarech. We just turned to Lamed Hey, and basically we have new sponsors for the new gear. For all those in need of Refuah Shelemah. And by Kidnovations, in honor of my uncle Reb Eli Pressman, and as he's zchut for a year filled with mazel bracha Hatzlocha and parnas for all the MDY family. Rabbi Say, the Hasidim are not going to like this joke so much, but which prime minister of Israel had a beard? There's only one. Golden Meir, very good. Chutz mi bal takif, whatever, it's not people that you know about. Chutz mi bal takif bal tashchis. A woman is not chayiv if she shaves her beard. Bishleim about, I once said it in Shir, not a single person laughed. They were all tzionim probably that day. Who knows? Bishleim about the Damal Mason, the Chsiva Morla Koyanim B'nei Okay, so the Isser to become Tommy to Mace to go to Levaya is only on men, not on B'nei Sar, not on Koyanos. And about Taku, about Ashkas Min Allah. We're going to the whole sugya now. How do we know that a woman is allowed to shave her beard? If she never has a beard, she's allowed to shave it. The Chsiv Lo Yisakifu Pas Roshchem, Lo Yisashkas Es Pas Konecha. If you're not allowed to shave, I got to show you this. This is very important. This is also an updated Yoshi thing. So Bal Takif is when you go from the corner of the forehead and you go to the ear. That area you're not allowed to shave off. And again, I need to reiterate because unfortunately there's from people that don't know enough. And they walk around like this. They think because they're balding, so they're allowed to shave the whole head. So Bal Takif is an Isser, even a Kafas Kol HaRoish. It could be, most hold it's Isser Deraisa. So it's one thing you're going to take upon yourself this Rosh Hashanah. Stay away from those haircuts. Make sure it's long, that you can chop it. Because if you can't grab onto it, whatever that number is, 2 I think, a number, whatever it is, then it could be an Isser Deraisa over many, many Isurim. in Eretz Yisrael, a lot of barbers have hechsherim on the wall. So there's a guy in the kollel. He said, "Yeah." I said, "Listen, you might have a hechsher, but I don't know that you got a certificate that you're a barber, b'chlal. First, you have to be a barber, then you can get a." Fine, big tzaddik. Anyway, no, because what they do is sometimes they take that machine and they cut around the ear, and it could be very problematic because the zakon has to be with a tar, with a razor, but a kafa could be with yechayev, even with the machine. It's a different chiyuv, it's a different isser. So if you go really, really close with the machine right around there, and they from barbers here in the neighborhood do it. They come like this, and that could be a isser deraisa. Even if you're not doing it, he does it for you. It's also brown. I'll go on here. So this is the chart. This is the paas konecha, and then the zakon is the corners. So says the Gemara, only somebody who is not allowed to shave their beard cannot shave their payas. As the Gemara is going to explain in a second, they're not over on shaving beards. That's why a Jewish woman could shave her head. She doesn't have a problem in shaving off payas. But how do you know that a woman is not chayiv when she shaves her beard? Just common sense. Typically 99.5% of women don't have beards. So that one woman that has a beard, she doesn't have an issur to shave it. But if you want a pasuk, kra. It's a pasuk, don't kra. So it starts off pas roishchem, and then it says konecha. It talks about plural, roishchem, many, and it's konecha is just the zakon. Since the Torah switched the way it's speaking, only a man is chayiv on shaving his beard and not a woman. But we have a problem. It says in the Brisa, Saris is a person who physically can't grow a beard. He can't have children, he has a different body. But Shehelu Seyar, if they have a beard, Hareim Kizakon called Divrayim. So if you and I are reading this, it says Mefurish in the Brisa that their beard is like a man's beard. L'chayr it's talking about that they can't shave. So the Gemara at the end is going to say no. It's talking about if they have a negat tzaras on their beard, we treat it like a man's tzaras. It has to be yellow, like a blonde gold color, not like skin which is white. We treat it as a beard, but not in terms of shaving. They're allowed to shave. That's the end of the Gemara. No, it can't be that Bryce is saying that they can't shave. Why do you all have pas? So Abaye ignores the two limudim that we had before, the svar and this. He says no. Now we're going to go with Gzeir Shava, which is interesting. Like Gzeir Shava is something you have to get from Sinai. Okay, he had it, and it says by a kohen v'leisashchis eis pas konecha. It says, which one is it? Wait a minute. Second one is kohen. Pas kohen lo yigalecho. Yeah, you're right. So. Gzeir Shava mibnei armala alon noshim pturois afkan noshim pturois. Stam a shaila I saw from Rav Zilberstein. Interesting shaila. It's come out nothing to do with the sugi, but it's geshmak shaila because it's something similar that happened to me. Half of the story. It's like a guy comes into the barbershop and he was in a big rush. He said a bunch of people waiting there. He says, "Listen, if you all agree that I go ahead of you, I'll pay for all your haircuts." That's a mice that happened to me. I was in a big rush. I paid for one guy. I needed to get out of there. So the guy was masking, fine. This guy is paying for 5 people. He got his haircut. He got up and ran out of the store. Ran away. So the shaila is, who has to pay now? Do the people in the chair, the 5 people, do they have to pay the barber, or does the barber have to give them free haircuts? Hear the shaila? The people have to pay? They agreed.
The barber wasn't part of the agreement.
Right. Huh?
They didn't get their cut yet. So he says, okay, put the money here.
Who agreed, the barber or the people?
Everybody. Everybody agreed.
It's a barber's business.
The barber agreed if they agree, and they all agreed. I think he says at the end that, huh?
The deal wasn't with the barber.
Right, it doesn't. So the deal is between them. I think that's what he says. The deal is between them. Okay, fine. Ein Sham. Where are we holding? I have no idea. Yeah. We said this. Oh, we have pass. Oh. So here's the psukim here. There's a whole parasha. So Bnei Aaron is what? It's a miut, only men, Bnei, not Benois. Then the pasuk goes, but this is important pasuk gimel, because all psukim are important for our sugya. It says lo yitama, that you should become tamei to your sister. A kohen should become tamei. You should bury your sister, and that, by the way, is a chiyuv also for women. And then in pasuk Hey it says lo yikrichu karcha b'roishom paskonim lo yigalechu. So the shaila is, does the word Bnei Aaron in pasuk Aleph apply to everything? Does it apply all the way down to paskonim lo yigalechu? Does it go that only a man has a chiyuv not to cut his beard, but a woman doesn't have the chiyuv? So it says the Gemara. According to Abaya, it goes on everything. So then the Torah doesn't need this Gzeir Shava that we said a second ago. Pass, this Gzeir Shava. So just learn Kal V'Chomer that what? This is the Kal V'Chomer. The Torah gave them a lot of extra mitzvahs more than a regular Yisrael. And nevertheless, and the girls of Kohanim, they don't have a chiyuv not to cut their beard. Yisrael Koshkim. So certainly Yisrael. Says Gemara. So then why do I need the Gzeir Shava? Ilav Gzeir Shava avamina hifsika inyan. Oh, so you look over here. Bnei Aaron is on top. On the bottom is Zikanim, and in the middle I have Lo Yitama. So Pasuk Gimel ruins it. Why? Because Pasuk Gimel is a positive, not a negative. The whole thing is Lo Yigalechu. Don't do this. Don't do this. And Pasuk Gimel says you should go to Levaya, and women should go to Levayas. So Mela Bnei Aaron has no connection to Pasuk Hey. Maybe I would say that. So Mela Gzeir Shava. Says Gemara Hashanami name of Hefsek. Nevertheless, say that there is a hefsek, and Bnei Aaron doesn't go on pasuk Hey. And what about your Gzeir Shava Abaya that you have? Because now this makes more sense. Abaya doesn't make Abaya cannot make up a Gzeir Shava. Gzeir Shava is something you give Moshe Rabbeinu from HaKadosh Baruch Hu directly. Gzeir Shava is these are words, pass. So Abaya knew about pass, but what exactly you do with it, I don't know. So the Gemara says, I'll tell you what to do with it. It says by the Kohanim they shouldn't shave. What if he shaves? This is a famous Gemara. How are you chayiv? What kind of shave are you chayiv? And that Rabbi Schoenberg had a whole thing on shavers and a whole thing that one day I'm going to read. Still on my desk. When I decide to grow a beard, then I'll read it. I'm scared to read it. So it says, maybe if you shaved with a scissors, you should be chayiv. It has to go all the way down to the skin, uproot it. So look in Rashi for a second, Malkit. It says Rashi, plaina. In English, it's a plane. What's a plane? Here, this. You think that you could use like a sharp, like a tool, a very sharp tool. Carpenters use this to smooth out wood. Just smooth out your face. Take off like a layer of skin. It's not a big deal. Not highly recommended to shave with, but let's say you use this, very like just the blade itself, and you did that. Why should you be potter? Because it's not the derech to shave like that. People don't shave like that. Only crazies. It has to be giluach, shaving. That's not shaving. That's a carpenter's tool. So the Gemara ketzad giluach shesh ba'ashchasa. You need two things. You need a tool that everybody uses, which is a razor blade, and it goes all the way down to the skin. Haviyoyim is a tar. So Mela, I need Gzeir Shava. Imkei says the Gemara Nichtov Kra Es Shebes Konecha My Paz Konecha Shma Min Atarti. From the fact that it says Paz Konecha and not Shebes Konecha, I learned two halachas from it. Now we have to go back. We said a second ago that we have a brisa. It says that if a woman has a beard or Saris has a beard, it seems like there's an isser for them to shave. It has a regular halach of a beard. That's something else. Tumas nega. That what? A nega is a person who has a tzaras, and it's an affliction on the skin. It looks like it's white. But if it comes on the skin, it's not white. On the beard, it's not white. It's a different color. It's gold. It's blonde, whatever you want to call it. So if a woman has a beard and she has a nega, it works with the same halachas as a man. In order for her to be tameh, it has to be gold. Says Gemara, why do I need that? What do I need this brisa for? It's a mafurish pasuk. It says isha isha. If a woman has a nega on her zakon, not to say that she becomes tameh, but what do you do once she becomes tameh? Then she's like a man. She has to shave everything off. All hairs have to come off. Bring korbanos, etc. Says Gemara, Pashut. Given the bas tummy, once she becomes tameh, bas tahari, then the only way to get out of the tumah is the tahara. And what's the tahara? To shave. Says Gemara, maybe you could split the pasuk in half. And then the zakon is a separate pasuk. If she has a neg on her head, fine. And then it says, oy bezakon is talking about how the son ish. Who has a zakon? A man. So the next part of the pasuk is not talking about a woman. Kamash Malan, that the zakon is also talking about a woman. And how do you deal with it when it comes to Negoim? Isi Tana. So now this is a sugya. It's going to go. We're going to finish it up tomorrow. We'll start it today. Afbal yikirchu noshim pturois. Yeah, there's a shaila. Here's a riddle. How could a person be over with one avera, be over 6 million averas in one shot? I don't agree with it personally. Who am I to disagree with Rav Shteiman? But that's what he holds. And he says that if a person rips out his hair thinking about the Holocaust, he's over on 6 million averas. Because the Torah says you're not allowed to rip out your hair when a person's bitzar on a mace. And here you are. I don't understand them. I can't argue them. I don't understand it because I thought it means mamish is a mace, mutal fanecha, and the tsar is so unbearable that a guy pulls out his hair and says, oh yeah, I feel bad about the Holocaust. I don't think it's not on a specific mace. How could it be over 6 million? He knows the mason. He knows the this. Okay, I don't know. That's what he says. What? No, you could be over on one mason. If there's a few mason there, you're over. He's right on that. If there's 5, you're over. But the 6 million, I think, might be a problem. But who am I? Anyway, so he says like this. It says in the pasuk, a woman is potter from pulling out her hair over a mace. My time he did this thing. The it's mamish today. Children. You're not allowed to scratch yourself in pain. You're not allowed to pull your hair out between your eyes. I, unfortunately, when I was a kid, traumatic experience in Ramat Hanan where I lived in Bnei Brak, there were kids waiting for a van, and as the van was pulling up, they pushed each other to jump onto the van, and one kid fell under the wheel of the van. And it was all over on the spot. And as a kid, I was curious to see the Levi, the whole thing, so I went into the house, snuck in there, and the wife, the mother, she was scratching herself. She was like, ah! She's like, over this is the Raisa. This is the Raisa to do. Nobody could tell her. I mean, she's out of her mind. She went nuts. But I witnessed a person scratching and just blood. They had to constrain her, the whole thing. Okay. The Ramban says, Bonam Tel Hashem, and the Ibn Ezra also says it, that we have to remember that we're Bonam Hashem, that we're the children of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And just like a father sometimes does things to a child, the child has no clue. Why do you make me do this? The father is doing it for the good of the kid. The father's not trying to be a Rochel to the kid. The father's being good. So says the Ramban, in this pasuk, Hashem is reminding us, I'm your father. And even though you don't understand this terrible tragedy that just happened, it's a terrible tragedy, but I'm doing it as a father. I'm doing it out of love. You don't understand it. So Memela, don't rip your skin. Ripping skin comes from not understanding. Just saying, oh, he forgot about me. this has no purpose. It's not for my good. Once you understand that I'm the father and I'm doing it out of love, for whatever the reason is, then lois is going to do v'lois simu karcha. This is not a Musa Sefer. This is a Ramban. Banim v'lei banois likarcha. So he learns, and that's what the Gemara is going to try to figure out. Why? How? He holds that women are not chayiv in this, in the karcha part, not in the lois is going to do of the scratching, in the ripping out the hair. That the banim goes on the bald part and not on the scratching part. Okay, already addressed gdida, so it must be going on karcha. But then that's the obvious question. I could take out one. So why did Isi decide to take out karcha and not gdida? They're both there. Scratching is on the entire body. Anywhere, it could be in the hand, it could be in the forehead, it could be everywhere. It makes more sense, he says, if I have to take out one out of the two, I'm going to take out something that's very limited to one part of the body, only where she has hair. Maybe it's going on both. So there's two things here, Rabbi said. There's srita means scratching with the hand, or inflicting whatever, a wound with the hand, and the gdida is with a tool. That's what the Gemara understands. Two things. We're finishing. No, it can't be, because Isi holds that it's one and the same, with a tool, without a tool. In your hand, it's one. Rabbi Sai, a good gebench yor. We'll see you tomorrow, Beis Hashem, at 7:15.